Hello, MechWarrior fans! This is Duncan Fisher. Today is the dawn of an exciting new league, a trial by fire, a proverbial bloodbath of lasers and autocannons, the likes of which you have never seen. Born from the twisted mind of the Dragon's own Hohiro Kurita, this new league will pit the finest MechWarrior units throughout the Inner Sphere against each other via intense skirmish-based combat. If you thought 1 vs 1s and 2 vs 2s was hardcore, well, just wait, because the Martial Olympiad is reborn.
Hey Mech fans, it's Cousin Indigo here, and it is the 15th of March here in New Zealand, and we are in the second week of the Martial Olympiad Reborn, the first tournament being brought to you by the new player-run competitive league, MWO Comp. So the tournament's been running for over a week now, and we've seen almost all the teams play across 14 games. Now there are a couple of teams left that are yet to play their first games, but they will be hitting the battlefield fairly shortly in this round. Now just a reminder, we do have 32 teams in action in the tournament. There is a crossover game between NA Div A and NA Div B, which means you'll see those two dummy teams when you do look at tournament on the website. Right, let's talk round one and let's talk about the results. We had Aces Wild Black Aces defeat the 79th Raptor in NA Div D. They won 5-0, so that one was a little bit of a stomp. We then had Cameron's Highlanders Claymores beat Aces Wild in a 3-2 match. Now that one was streamed. That was NA Div C. The 31st Hussar and Majestic 12 went at it, and that was a fairly convincing win for Majestic. Clan Widowmaker and Friends played I Hate My Team. That was another close one in EU Div B, and I Hate My Team took that one 3-2. White Knight Legion defeated the Answer in an NA Div B battle. That was 5-0 to White Knight Legion, who looked pretty impressive in that game. 228 Death from Above went down to the Potato Killers in another NA Div B game. Potato Killers taking that one 4-1. There was then the mighty battle between EMP and 228 Blackwatch, and whilst there was 7 rounds played, that ended up being a 4-1 win to EMP, who played very, very well. Another Battle of the Titans, JGX played Phoenix Legion in EU Div A, and JGX did look pretty impressive as well. They took that one 5-0, so off to a good start there. Cameron's Highlanders Sons of Thunder played 228th Death from Above. Jeez, I always get that wrong. Come on, guys. In an NA Div D game, and yeah, Death from Below did pretty well. They took that one 5-0, so a good start to them. Smoke Adders played MS Crab People in a NA Div B game. Couple of very closely matched teams, and MS Crab People came out on top there, 3-2. The DS39th Cluster played SA 505th, again another close game amongst closely seeded teams in NA Div D, and 505th took that one 3-2 as well. The All-Star team Black Omen then took on my unit, Clan Crossfire, in the first of the crossover games, and they did give us a bit of a bum smacking, unfortunately, 5-0. They played very, very well, and we did struggle to keep up with just how good some of those pilots were. EON played Russian Jade Falcon, and EON looked very, very good. That was a 5-0 win to EON there, so they are certainly continuing the form that we saw in the World Champs. And then we had Furia and Russian Jade Falcon Irie in the EU Div B battle, and Irie took that one 4-1. So 14 games there, and we did have a mix of close matches and some pretty convincing wins, and there's been a few teams in there that have really signalled that they'll be a force to be reckoned with in the tournament. Very, very hard to look past EON. They are certainly looking as though they have lost nothing, even though they've had some changes to their roster from World Champs. Now let's look at some key takeaways from round one. There was 227 different mech variants used across the round. with the 5 most common variants being seen: the Hunchback 2CA, the Madcat B, the Falcon 5T, the Piranha 1, and the Wolfhound 2. Now, between those 5 mech chassis, they accounted for a third of all the mechs that were used across all the drops, so pretty popular. In fact, of that 227, there was just 20 variants that accounted for more than 3/4 of all the mechs that were used. So I guess that's a sign that a lot of teams are on the same page for the types of mechs and variants they are running. It will be interesting to see whether that changes at all as we move forward. Now, one of the top mechs that were in that most 20 used variants was the Quick Draw IV4. So that was used 23 times across round 1. So for me personally, that's one of my favourite mechs. So it was really, really good to see it being played. And I think it confirms that it was a good call by the tournament organisers to include heroes in the Martial Olympiad Reborn. Now, those builds will have been influenced by the maps in round 1. So that was Canyon and Mining as the compulsory maps, and in the map ban phase of the 5, we actually only saw Alpine, Rubellite, and River. And, you know, that will, of course, be in part because of the strats that teams wanted to employ, and therefore, you know, using the maps that suit the strats that they think they can execute. From what we did see around builds, Brawl does still seem to be a part of comp. We did see a large number of SRM assassins, linebackers, and a few Arctic Wolves. Long range energy and DACA, of course, which is the mainstay of a lot of comp, was there, and we talked about the prevalence of the Hunchback 2CA, Madcats with the DACA, Battlemasters and Annihilators, and Nightjares as well, running AC2s and long range DACA. And of course, we did see a lot of light and fast medium play, which of course seems to be crucial to comp. There was a huge number of Piranhas, Wolfhounds, Vulcans, and Mist Lynx. Generally, I think we've seen 2 main strats thus far, and that's probably in part because of the maps. But range and control does seem to be a mainstay of comp, and we are seeing that early, as does fast brawl. So with mining in there as that second map in round 1, we did see a few teams run those fast brawl strategies, combined maybe with a couple of mechs providing some of that range and control. And of course, we are seeing always some fast lights, some fast movers in there for both scouting, of course, and for capping. Now, there has also been some amazing pilotship across the first round. And the top pilots so far are Giggity Giggity Goo from 228 Death from Above. Now, Giggity played 2 matches, but did manage to average 422 match score and 576 damage in the NA Div B game played, so pretty awesome there. Therax from Smoke at his 505th played 3 rounds in his NA Div D game and averaged 406 match score and 604 damage across those drops. So that's pretty fantastic. No surprise that Chimera from EMP is up there. So in the game against 228, he's averaged a 403 match score and 608 damage across the 5 rounds. And that included 10 kills. So averaging that level of damage at that level of play is pretty amazing. Certainly some unreal skill. Now, faction play streamer Yondu Udonta also showed his kind of comp creds with a pretty outstanding performance for Potato Killers in the NA Div B game they played against Death from Above. He averaged 399 match score and 615 damage per drop in the 5 rounds, the 5 drops that he played. And he also got 11 kills, so not a bad start to the tournament. But my pilot of the round has to go to Texan Scrublord now. Texan Scrublord is actually playing in 2 teams. So he played 2 games and 10 rounds. He's averaged 377 match score across those 10 drops and 594 damage, including 17 kills. That's 1.7 kills per round that he's playing. So that is an absolutely fantastic performance. So some fantastic pilots around. And again, round 1 has thrown up some fantastic performances as well. Right, we've talked about the results, so let's look at the standings after 1 round. And of course, remember, that some of the games for round 1 are yet to be played. Let's start with EU Div A, and first Jade Guards and Eon are up the top there in this 4-team division. They both had healthy wins. Phoenix, Legion, PHL, and Russian Jade Falcon bringing up 3rd and 4th there. As mentioned, Eon are looking a hot favourite there, so it'll be interesting to see how that one progresses. Let's go to EU Div B, and leading the way there is Majestic 12. As we said, they are certainly looking like the strength in that division. RGF Irie coming in second. I Hate My Team. All of those teams having wins in the first round. Clan Widowmaker and Friends in 4th, Furia in 5th, and 31st Hussar Regiment in 6th. Let's go now to NA Div A. And Black Omen off to a good start here. As mentioned, they had the crossover match with Clan Crossfire and had a pretty convincing 5-0 win there. EMP in second with their 4-1 win over 228, who are in 3rd. So that's just a 3-team division there. And the game between Black Omen and EMP is really going to be pivotal for how that division looks. We go into NA Div B, 7 teams in this division. And White Knight Legion are the front runners to begin with. They had a very good win first up. Potato Killers in second. MS Crad People in 3rd. Obviously, all those teams having wins. Smoke Adders and 228 Death from Above in 5th and 6th. The Answer in 7th. And my team, Clan Crossfire, in 8th. As mentioned, we had the team against the Div A Black Omen. So yeah, we'll have our first match against another Div B team in a couple of days' time. So from NA Div B, we're down to NA Div C, and currently we have Cameron's Highlanders Claymore topping that division with their win over Aces Wild, who sit in second. The other 4 teams actually are yet to play, so Dropship 4, Bears Brawlers, Diamond Shark, and Blackthorn Dragoons. So we'll have a bit clearer understanding of how that is going after round 2 in that division, and to the last division, Div D in North America. It's a two-horse race at the moment with Death from Below and Aces Wild Black Aces equal on points, and both with healthy wins in first round. Smoke Adders 505th, who also had a win, are in 3rd. Diamond Shark 39th Strike Cluster in 4th. 79th Raptor Talon Cluster in 5th. And Cameron Highlanders Sons of Thunder in 6th in that division. So those are your standings. Some very clear front runners from our first round. It will be interesting to see whether round 2 confirms what we have seen thus far. Right, so there hasn't been any games played in round 2 as at the time of this recording. So for our featured match, we're going to go to one of the last games played in round 1 between world champs EONtatoes and Russian Jade Falcon. Now, if you watched this game and you were able to hear what was happening over the thumping sound of System Belmont's keystrokes and desk banging, you did get a chance to see just how good a unit Eon are, and the way that they can bring in top pilots like Denia Walker, JZ, and Loom God, and be just as effective against another very high quality team like Russian Jade Falcon. So drop 1 was Canyon Network, and Eon did take this one pretty convincingly, 8-0. Eon brought a Loom deck, and they pretty much just ignored the caps and moved their Loom mechs into protected positions down in the canyons. And they had 2 commandos just run around to spot, so that was Burya and Denia Walker running around in those commandos. Now, the way that they moved and rotated to help protect themselves and each other was pretty amazing, and it really let the commandos just get in there and engage RJF because their mechs were just getting rained on by 5 or 6 different mechs at any one time. RJF were good enough to really hurt some of Eon's mechs, but this was an ambush. I mean, right off the get-go, this was an ambush with an LRM deck, and, you know, we are talking about 6 assaults that Eon ran all with looms, so it was pretty devastating. You know, they had 3 Fafnirs, they had ECM with the Fafnirs and a Blood Asp, and yeah, it was pretty out there. It was pretty good. JZ and Colonel O'Neill both did over 1,000 damage in a comp game. Now that was 2,263 damage between them, but they only got 1 kill. So yeah, it kind of goes to show how a Loom deck will work. But yeah, pretty impressive, and I think that took RJF by surprise. So we're going to drop 2, and this was the first drop on Mining Collective. Now after Denny Walker disconnected and had to rejoin, this game did play out a little bit more typically, with both teams bringing more of a range control mix with some fast movers and some fast brawl. RJF did lose a Mist Lynx relatively early. The Mist Lynx got a little bit out of position, was jumped on, and that led to Eon stripping the Mist Lynx and just using that momentum and pushing forward into the silos in Charlie 5 on Mining Collective. It almost went bad when JZ did team kill O'Neill, but yeah, there was a few separate battles there, and in the end I think Eon took that one a little bit easier. They had the brawlier mechs. RGF had gone for more energy builds, whereas Eon did have some brawly mechs there with Piranhas and SRM Assassin, and when it did come down to a brawl, that meant that they were able to get the win there. So Eon did take this one 8-3, again with one of those kills being a team kill by Eon. We ran that back on Mining, and Eon won this one again 8-1. Eon brought a little bit more of a pure range and control deck here with a Dak and Night Gear. That was Lizzie in that one, covering the circle while both teams kind of held off and jockeyed a little bit for position. The key moment happened when a bit of a skirmish broke out on the other side of the circle away from the main bodies, with a few of Eon's lights and some of RJF's fast movers, including a linebacker. And obviously RJF thought that that was a good time to push with their main body. They did push again into the silos in Charlie 5 on Mining Collective, but Eon just responded so quickly. They broke off from the engagement on that other side. Their lights came back whilst Lizzie basically covered their movement with the Dak and Night Gear firing across onto RJF's fast movers, and Eon took down and won the brawl from the RJF's push. And whilst RJF did take down Lizzie in the Night Gear, Eon were really able to clean up from there, and it was really, I guess, a demonstration of Eon's teamwork and the way that they can just see what's in front of them, respond and react, and you know, it's so hard to beat a team of such highly skilled pilots when they're working in a team in the way that they did. So the game was won after those 3 drops, and in the map ban phase we moved to River City, but drop 4 was undoubtedly the best drop of this match. As often happens with River City, the early engagements happened in contesting Theta, and one team trying to nab Kappa down that side. RGF took the initial Overwatch position in Spaceport to cover Theta, and that did allow their assassin to take that, because of course Eon took a little bit longer to get to the upper city to provide that Overwatch to their lights. So RGF had that early 3-cap, but Eon did push a couple of lights to Kappa, and they got Kappa, but that turned into a light fight there, and Eon's Falcon and Wolfhound did go down in that light fight, including RGF's assassin. But for this one, RGF did get caught out a little bit. They had moved their Annihilators towards Kappa as that light fight was going on, and Eon were able to kind of rotate out of the upper city with most of their tonnage, push forward and cap both Gamma and Theta. And so whilst a battle ensued and it was really fiercely contested, Eon had a 4-cap for just so long that when it came down to the battle being resolved, and that ended up with Eon having a dragon and RGF having an Annihilator, the game was pretty much gone there, and Eon did win this one on caps, 750 to 260, so you can see just how far behind RJF were. So in carrying out that battle, unfortunately the caps just kept ticking away, and RJF weren't able to wrest that advantage away. So it was well played by EON to push at the right time and make sure that they secured the caps. Going into drop 5, the last drop, River City again, and EON did win this one 8-3, a little bit more convincingly. This time around, EON got Theta early. They moved in and they had a 3 cap very early, kind of within the first minute. RJF had dropped quite heavy into Alpha and Bravo, and they pushed up the G line, kind of like you normally would in a pug game, basically, towards the Citadel. And they almost looked like they were going to begin NASCAR, but they got into a murder ball. They pushed around the Citadel whilst EON were up in Spaceport. But EON were able to respond. Their fast movers back-capped Epsi and even Gamma, and they ended up with a 5 cap within a very short amount of time. So RJF in their murder ball tried to push into EON, and they had some success, but they were basically pushing through the water into a firing line whilst the 2 EON lights were almost in their back harassing, and in the end EON were able to win the brawl that ensued and take that drop 8-3 and to secure the clean sweep. But it was a good game. Again, it did demonstrate just the ability of EON and how good they are as a team, the ability to react on the fly or even to execute a strategy. But they are favourites in this tournament for a reason, and they are world champs for a reason, and they certainly don't seem to have lost too much with the additions of Denny Walker, JZ and Loom God. So yeah, looking very, very strong. Alright, so let's talk more about round 2 and the matches that we have scheduled. Now, just a reminder that in round 2 we will see Solaris City as the first map, and then Polar Highlands for rounds 2 and 3. Now, just remember, there are no lock-on weapons for rounds 2 and 3, those lighter drops. So that will be very interesting to see what kind of tactics the teams bring to Polar Highlands. And, of course, in the map ban round, we will see choices of Alpine Peaks, River City, Rubellite Oasis, Terra Firma, and Viridian Bog. In round 1, we only saw Alpine, River, and Rubellite. So it'll be interesting to see whether any of those other maps are utilised or not. So the matches in round 2 include 228 Black Watch, the 6th seed, going up against the Potato Killers. Now that is a crossover match. That is a NA Div A team versus an NA Div B team, just because of the odd number of teams in each of those divisions. This is the 6th ranked overall team versus the 8th, even though they're in different divisions. So this should actually be a really good game. Potato Killers showed that they are no punks with a really, really good win in the first round. And of course, Blackwatch did play EMP. And those were good matches, but it will be very interesting to see how they back up against this Division B team. We have Bears Brawlers, who are the 17th ranked team overall and are yet to play, come up against Clan Diamond Shark Command Cluster, who are 16th ranked overall, but this should be a very close NA Div C game. Bears Brawlers are yet to play, so there might be a bit of rust to knock off there, but that one will be interesting. 228 Death from Above play the answer in an NA Div B match. Now, both teams are coming off a loss in the first round, and I do know that DFA were pretty disappointed in their performance, so they'll be looking to bounce back. DFA are ranked 9 overall against the answer, who are ranked 19th or last in that division, so we would expect DFA to be the runaway favourites on that one. But who knows? Who knows? The gap there I don't think is as big as the seeding would tell us. We move into an EU Div B game. Clan Widowmaker and friends play Majestic 12. Now, Majestic 12 are looking very, very strong. I talked about how good Texan Scrublord was in that first round. Expect that to continue. Majestic 12 are 12th ranked overall against Clan Widowmaker and friends, who are 21st. So, and Clan Widowmaker did go down in their first round game. So I would expect Majestic 12 are going to take that one without too much problems. Another EU Div B game between 31st Hussar and Furia. Now they're pretty close seeding-wise. Hussar are ranked 20th overall, Furia 23rd. And both teams are coming off a loss in that first round. But I think Hussar will be looking to bounce back. So we go to an NA Div D game between 505th and 79th Raptor. Now 505th did have a good win in round 1, so they'll be looking to kind of continue that momentum. And 79th Raptor did go down. They are seeded higher than 505th, so this one should be a hell of a match, I think, as 79th Raptor do look to bounce back and get on the board. We have a Battle of the Titans in an NA Div A game, Black Omen and EMP. Now, both of them were winners last week. Both of them were convincing winners. Black Omen did come up against the mighty clan Crossfire in the crossover game, but they won pretty easily, and EMP looked mightily impressive against 228. But it will be a question, I think, of who can work better as a team. Obviously, fantastic pilots across these drops, but it will come down to who works better as a team, I think, to decide that one. Hard to go past EMP. I think they've got the established creds there, but that should be one hell of a game. We go to another Titanic battle, this one in EU Div A. Eon this time against Phoenix Legion. That is the first rank side against the 5th rank side. And Eon are looking unstoppable. I think PHL are going to be up against it there. Really, really hard to look past Eon, and just how smooth and competent they are looking. They might be taking first place in that division at a canter, I think. An NA Div B game between Smoke Adders, the 13th ranked overall, against White Knight Legion, who had a good win in the first round. White Knight Legion are ranked 10th overall and Smoke Adders 13th. So two very good teams, and the question will be whether White Knight Legion can back up that excellent performance in round 1. But SA are a good team, so they will be very, very competitive there, and it will be interesting to see how that one goes. We have an EU Div B game then. I Hate My Team, who had a good win in round 1, versus RJF Irie, who also had a good win. Should be competitive. Irie are ranked higher. They're 14th overall compared to I Hate My Team, but I think that will be much, much closer than those seedings might tell us. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. Dropship 4 play Blackthorn Dragoons in both of those teams' first games of the championship. It will be interesting to see how they go. They are starting a bit late, and they will have had the benefit of seeing the games that have already played. So they've got a chance, I guess, to assess what kind of strats they've been seen. It's very likely that that will be effectively a round 1 game. So it will be the different maps than the other teams. Cameron's Highlanders Sons of Thunder play off against Aces Wild Black Aces. Now, Sons of Thunder did go down in the first round, and Black Aces had an excellent win. Black Aces are really looking like the strength in that div, so I think that they will do that one as at a canter. Sons of Thunder did go down pretty hard, and I think Black Aces will get close to a 5-0 stomp in that one. Another EU Div A game, Russian Jade Falcon up against First Jaguar Guards. Now, JGX did look pretty strong as they took apart Phoenix Legion, and RJF had the unenviable task of taking Eon on first up, which no one really wants to do, but they'll bounce back, and this will be a very, very good game. First Jag Guards are actually ranked less at 7th overall compared to RJF at 4th, so you know both of these teams, of course, have played each other quite a bit and are very good, so that should be a good game. We then go into Clan Crossfire against MS Crab people. This is an NA Div B battle. MS did look pretty good in their first game, taking that 3-2. And Clan Crossfire, we had the misfortune of having a crossover game first up. So we did come up against Black Omen and did get our bum smacked a little bit. But we will rebound and we'll be well prepared for that game on Sunday, and look forward to locking horns or pincers, as it case may be, with MS Crab people. And we then have Blackthorn Dragoons playing again over the weekend for their second round game, and going up against Clan Diamond Shark Command Cluster in that NA Div C game. So that will be an interesting one as well. It will be interesting to see whether the games so close together help Blackthorn Dragoons. DZAG should be the favourite for that match. They are looking pretty strong, and I think that they will take that one pretty easily. So that's the games that we have got scheduled. Do catch as many of those via the Twitch streams as you can. Look for Reddit follow the MWO Discord, and you'll be able to see which ones are being streamed so that you can follow your favourite team. Alright, that's the update, guys. Enough from me. I'll catch you guys next week.
Your main attraction, distraction.